I never told my son about my $40,000 monthly salary, even though he always saw me living a simple life. One day, he invited me to dinner with his wife's parents, who were visiting from Canada. I decided to see how they would treat a poor person by pretending to be a broke and naive mother. But the moment I stepped through the door of that restaurant, everything changed. What happened that night devastated my daughter-in-law and her family in a way they never imagined. And trust me, they deserved it. Let me explain how I got there. Let me tell you who I really am. Because my son, Liam, at 35 years old, never knew the truth about his mother. To him, I was always just the woman who left early for the office, who came back exhausted in the evenings, who cooked with whatever scraps were in the fridge. Just another employee, maybe a secretary, someone ordinary, nothing special. And I never corrected him. I never told him that I earned $40,000 every month, that I had been a senior executive at a multinational corporation for almost 20 years, signing million-dollar contracts and making decisions that affected thousands of lives. Why tell him? Money was never something I needed to flaunt like a trophy. I grew up in an era where dignity was carried deep within, where silence was worth more than empty boasts. So, I guarded my truth with a heavy heart. I lived in the same modest apartment in Seattle for years. I used the same faded leather handbag until it frayed at the edges. I bought clothes at thrift stores, cooked humble meals at home, saved everything, invested everything, and became rich in silence. Because true power doesn't shout. True power observes. And I was observing closely when Liam called me that Tuesday afternoon. His voice sounded different, nervous, like when he was a child and had broken something precious. "Mom, I need to ask you a favor. Olivia's parents are visiting from Canada. It's their first time here. They want to meet you. We're having dinner on Saturday at a restaurant. Please come." Something in his tone pierced my heart like a shard of ice. It wasn't the voice of a son inviting his mother with joy. It was the voice of someone begging not to be embarrassed, to blend in, to not shatter the fragile illusion. Tears pricked my eyes as I gripped the phone tighter, but I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Do they know anything about me?" I asked calmly, though my chest ached with unspoken grief. There was a silence that stretched like an eternity. Then Liam stammered. "I told them you work in an office, that you live alone, that you're simple, that you don't have much." There it was, the word simple, reducing my lifetime of sacrifices to a pitiful label, as if I were a burden he had to explain away. My heart shattered quietly, tears blurring my vision as I stared at the worn walls of my living room. I took a deep, shuddering breath, wiping away the moisture on my cheeks. "Okay, Liam, I'll be there." I hung up and collapsed into my old armchair, sobs racking my body. The old but comfortable furniture, the bare walls without fancy art, the small TV, nothing that would impress anyone. And in that moment, a wave of profound sadness washed over me. If my son saw me as a poor woman, if his wife's parents were coming ready to judge, then I would give them exactly what they expected. I would pretend to be broke, naive, and desperate, a mother barely clinging to survival. I wanted to feel firsthand how they treated someone who had nothing, even if it meant reopening old wounds of loneliness and grief. I wanted to see their true faces because I suspected something dark. I suspected Olivia and her family were the type who measured souls by bank accounts. And my instinct, honed by years of silent suffering, never failed. Saturday arrived like a storm cloud. Tears streamed down my face as I dressed in the worst outfit I owned. A faded blue, shapeless, wrinkled dress from a garage sale, the kind that screamed defeat. Old scuffed shoes, no jewelry, not even a simple ring. I grabbed a threadbare canvas tote bag, pulled my hair back into a messy bun, and looked in the mirror. I looked like a woman crushed by life's relentless cruelty. Forgettable, broken. My reflection stared back, and fresh sobs escaped me. This was the mask I'd worn for so long to protect my son, but now it felt like a knife twisting in my gut. I got into a taxi and gave the address. A high-end restaurant in the most exclusive part of Seattle, the kind where menus whispered luxury without prices, where each fork cost more than a month's rent for some. As we drove, grief choked me, a mix of bitter anticipation and soul-deep sadness. Anticipation because I knew a reckoning was coming. Sadness because a fragile part of me still hoped I was wrong, hoped they would see beyond the rags, hoped for kindness that might heal the cracks in my heart. But the hardened part, forged in corporate battles and solitary nights, knew the pain awaiting me. The taxi stopped in front of the restaurant. Warm lights, a doorman in crisp white gloves, elegant patrons gliding in. I paid, stepped out, took a trembling breath, crossed the threshold, and there they were. Liam stood next to a long table by the windows, in a sharp navy suit, white shirt, polished shoes. He looked anxious, his eyes darting. Beside him was Olivia, my daughter-in-law, in a sleek ivory dress with pearl accents, high heels, her auburn hair cascading perfectly. She looked flawless, but her gaze toward the entrance was tense, almost pleading. And then I saw them, Olivia's parents, already seated like monarchs on thrones. The mother, Beatrice, in a sparkling sapphire gown laden with diamonds on her neck, wrists, fingers. Her silver-streaked hair in an elegant chignon. She had that icy, predatory beauty that chilled the soul. Beside her was Reginald, her husband, in a tailored charcoal suit, a massive gold watch glinting, his expression stern. Both looked like they had emerged from a glossy wealth catalogue. I approached slowly with hesitant steps, as if the ground might swallow me. Liam saw me first, and his face crumpled, eyes widening in horror as he scanned my outfit. I saw him swallow hard, his Adam's apple bobbing like he was choking on regret. "Mom, you came." His voice cracked with discomfort, and it stabbed my heart anew, tears welling behind my eyes. "Of course, son, here I am." I forced a timid smile, the kind born from years of hidden pain, but inside, grief surged like a tidal wave. Olivia greeted me with a perfunctory peck on the cheek. Cold, robotic. "Mother-in-law, it's nice to see you." Her eyes screamed otherwise, and a sob caught in my throat. She introduced me to her parents in a hushed, apologetic tone. "Dad, Mom, this is Liam's mother." Beatrice looked up, her eyes raking over me like claws, judging the wrinkles in my dress, the scuffs on my shoes, the frayed tote. In that instant I saw it all. The contempt, the revulsion, the crushing disappointment. Tears burned my eyes as she extended a limp hand. "A pleasure," she said flatly. Reginald followed with a weak grip and a forced, charmed. My heart ached as I sat at the table's far end, like an unwelcome shadow. No one pulled out my chair. No one asked if I was okay. The waiter arrived with ornate menus in French. I opened mine, pretending confusion, my hands trembling with suppressed emotion. Beatrice watched me with a smirk. "Do you need help with the menu?" she asked, her voice dripping with false sweetness that masked venom. "Yes, please. I don't know what these words mean." My voice quavered, small and broken, tears blurring the page. She sighed theatrically and ordered for me. "Something simple," she sneered. "Something that doesn't cost too much. We don't want to overdo it." The words hung like daggers, piercing my soul. Reginald nodded approvingly. Liam averted his eyes, his face flushed with shame. Olivia fidgeted with her napkin. No one spoke up, and grief flooded me, silent tears slipping down my cheeks as I wiped them away discreetly. Beatrice launched into chatter about their grueling flight from Canada, the differences in civilized life. Then she veered into money, her words like salt in my wounds. She boasted of their $1,500 a night hotel suite, the luxury SUV rental. Obviously, the boutiques where they'd dropped just a few thousand. She eyed me expectantly, waiting for awe. I nodded meekly. How nice. But inside, sobs threatened to erupt from the depth of my loneliness. "That's lovely," she pressed on, her superiority gleaming. "You know, Elena, we've always been prudent with money. We toiled hard, invested wisely. Now we own estates in 4 provinces. Reginald has thriving enterprises, and I manage our portfolio." She smiled triumphantly, but it felt like a slap. "And you, what exactly do you do?" Her tone was honeyed poison, and tears streamed freely now, hidden in the dim light as I lowered my gaze. I work in an office, I whispered, my voice cracking with raw emotion. I do a little of everything. Paperwork, filing, simple things. Beatrice exchanged a loaded glance with Reginald. Ah, administrative work. That's fine. Honest labor. All jobs have dignity, right? Of course, I murmured, my heart breaking into fragments, tears soaking my napkin under the table. The food arrived. Lavish plates with minuscule portions artfully arranged. Beatrice sliced her steak with precision. This costs $90, she bragged. But quality is worth it. One can't just eat anything, right? I nodded, choking back sobs. You're right. Liam tried shifting topics to his work, but Beatrice cut in. Son, does your mother live alone? Liam nodded hesitantly. Yes, she has a small apartment. Beatrice turned to me with mock pity that twisted the knife deeper. It must be so hard, isn't it? Living alone at your age without much support. Does your salary even cover the basics? The trap snapped shut and grief overwhelmed me, tears flowing as I barely whispered. I manage. Save where I can. I don't need much. Beatrice sighed dramatically, her eyes gleaming with cruel satisfaction. Oh, Elena, you're so brave. I admire women who endure such hardship alone. Though, of course, one always hopes to give our children more, to lift them up. But, well, everyone gives what they can. There it was, the veiled accusation that I had failed my son, that I was inadequate. My chest heaved with silent sobs, tears dripping onto my lap. Olivia stared at her plate. Liam's fists clenched under the table. And I just endured, smiling through the agony, letting the pain fuel my resolve. Beatrice sipped her expensive red wine, swirling it like a connoisseur. This is from a rare French vineyard. $2.50 a bottle. But when you appreciate quality, you don't skimp. Do you drink wine, Elena? Only on special occasions, I replied, my voice breaking, tears stinging. And usually the cheapest. I don't understand these things. Beatrice's condescending smile deepened my grief. Oh, don't worry. Not everyone has a refined palate. That comes with experience, travel, culture. Reginald and I have toured vineyards in Europe, Asia, California. We're experts. Reginald nodded. It's a passion. Olivia's learning too. She has our taste. He beamed at her. Olivia forced a smile. Thanks, Mom. Beatrice turned to me. And you, Elena? Any hobbies? I shrugged, tears welling again. I watch TV, cook, walk in the park, simple things. Beatrice and Reginald shared another judgmental glance, and my heart wept. How charming, Beatrice said. Simple things have their appeal. Though one always aspires to more, to explore the world, grow culturally. But I suppose not everyone gets those chances. I nodded, sobbing inwardly. You're right. Not everyone does. The desserts arrived. Exquisite mini masterpieces. Beatrice ordered the priciest, $35 for a bite-sized confection with edible gold. This is divine, she gushed. See the gold flakes. Only elite spots offer that. I ate my plain one in silence, grief choking every bite. Then Beatrice's tone shifted. You know, Elena, it's time we discuss something as family. She fixed me with a serious, faux maternal gaze. Liam tensed. Mom, not now. Beatrice waved him off. Let me speak. This is vital. She looked at me, her words like arrows. Liam is our son-in-law. We adore him. Olivia loves him and we honor that. But as parents, we want the best for our daughter. My heart pounded with dread, tears blurring her face. Elena, I know you did your best with Liam. Raising him solo was tough, I respect that. But now he's in a new phase. Married. Responsible. Olivia, and he deserves stability. Stability. I echoed softly, my voice trembling with emotion. Yes, Beatrice replied. Financial, emotional. We've helped generously and will continue. But we don't want unnecessary burdens on him. Her implication hit like a gut punch. I was the burden. Tears cascaded down my cheeks as I bit my lip to stifle a sob. Olivia looked away, ashamed. Liam's jaw tightened. Burdens. I repeated, my voice cracking with grief. Beatrice sighed. I hate to be blunt, Elena, but at your age, alone on a meager salary, it's natural for Liam to fret over you. That's noble. But we can't let it strain his marriage. Do you see? Perfectly, I whispered, heartbroken. Beatrice smiled. Good. So, Reginald and I have an idea. She paused for effect. We could assist you financially. A modest monthly stipend to ease your life, so Liam doesn't worry. I stayed silent, tears flowing freely now. Grief raw in my chest. He pressed on. It would be humble, we can't perform miracles, but supportive. In return, we'd ask you to give Liam and Olivia space. Not visit so often, not impose, let them forge their life without interruptions. How does that sound? There it was, the bribe masked as mercy to buy my absence. My soul screamed in agony, sobs threatening to burst forth. Liam exploded. Mom, enough. You don't. Beatrice cut him off. Marcus, we're adults here. Your mother understands, right? I dabbed my lips with my napkin, taking a shaky breath. The silence grew heavy. Everyone stared. Beatrice expectant, Reginald arrogant, Olivia ashamed, Liam desperate. Then I spoke, my voice no longer frail but steel-edged through tears. That's an interesting offer, Beatrice. Truly generous. Beatrice beamed victoriously. I'm glad you see it that way. I nodded, wiping away fresh tears. But I have questions to clarify. Beatrice blinked. Of course. I leaned forward, my heart pounding with emotional turmoil. How much for this modest stipend? Beatrice hesitated. We thought $500, perhaps $700. I nodded, a sob escaping. $700 a month to vanish from my son's life. Beatrice frowned. I wouldn't phrase it so harshly, but yes. That's exactly how you phrased it, I said, tears streaming. Help. How did you help with their house down payment? Beatrice preened. $40,000. $40,000. And the honeymoon? $15,000. A 3-week European tour. Incredible, I said, my voice thick with grief. So, you've invested $55,000 in Liam and Olivia. Beatrice smiled. When you love your children, you spare no expense. I nodded slowly, sobs racking me. You're right. Love holds nothing back. But tell me, Beatrice, did that money buy respect? Or just obedience? The air shifted. Beatrice stopped smiling. Pardon. My tone sharpened through tears. You've bragged about money all night. Costs, spending, possessions. But not once did you ask how I am, if I'm happy, if I'm lonely, if my heart aches. You only valued me by my worth, deeming me $700 a month. Beatrice paled. I didn't. Yes, you did, I interrupted, tears flowing like rivers. From the moment I arrived, you've weighed my soul with your wallet. And what I learned, Beatrice, is that those obsessed with money understand its value least. Reginald interjected. You're twisting my wife's intentions. I fixed him with a tear-filled gaze. Her intentions. To pity me. Humiliate me. Bribe me to fade away. Reginald faltered. Liam was ashen. Mom, please. I turned to him, my voice breaking with maternal grief. No, Liam. I'm done silencing my pain. I placed my napkin down, no longer cowering. I met Beatrice's eyes, and she averted hers, discomfort cracking her facade. Beatrice, you said you admire women who struggle alone. She nodded warily. Yes. Have you ever struggled alone? Built from nothing without a safety net? Beatrice stuttered. I have achievements. Like what? I pressed, tears of years-long isolation spilling. Tell me. I manage investments, properties, decisions in our businesses. He nodded. Businesses Reginald built, properties bought jointly, investments from his earnings. Or am I mistaken? Reginald bristled. Unfair. My wife works as hard as I. I don't doubt it, I said, sobbing softly. But managing existing wealth differs from creating it from ashes, brick by brick, while raising a child alone. Liam stared, eyes wide with shock and unspoken regret. I continued, my voice trembling with emotion. 40 years ago I was 23, a secretary on minimum wage, in a rented room, eating scraps. Alone. Then pregnant. The father vanished. My family abandoned me. I chose to fight, working until labor, returning 2 weeks after Liam's birth. A neighbor babysat while I toiled 12 hours daily. Tears poured down my face, grief raw. No one spoke. The silence was a void filled with my pain. I didn't stay as secretary. I studied nights, learned at libraries, English, accounting, finance. Became an expert alone, raising Liam, paying for everything amid endless tears and exhaustion. It took 20 years, from secretary to assistant, coordinator, manager, director. Beatrice stared at her plate, her arrogance fracturing. And now, I earn $40,000 a month. The revelation hung like thunder. Silence crushed the room. Liam's fork clattered. Olivia's eyes bulged. Reginald frowned disbelievingly. Beatrice froze, mouth agape. Tears of vindication mixed with sorrow on my cheeks. $40,000, I repeated, voice steady through sobs. Regional director for a multinational, overseeing 6 states, managing billions, affecting thousands. Liam whispered, tears in his eyes. Mom, why never tell me? I looked at him, heart aching with love and grief. You didn't need to know, son. I wanted you to value effort, not inheritance. To be a man, not spoiled. Money corrupts. I shielded you. Olivia whispered. Then why the small apartment? Simple clothes. No luxury car. I smiled through tears. I don't need to impress. True wealth hides. I learned the more you have, the less you prove. I turned to Beatrice, sobs subsiding into resolve. That's why I came like this, pretending poor. To see your treatment if I had nothing. And oh, Beatrice, I saw it all. The disdain, the cruelty. Beatrice flushed with shame, rage, humiliation. Tears glistening in her eyes for the first time. Ridiculous. If you earned that, we'd know. Because I chose silence, I said, grief lacing my words. Lived simply. Invested wisely. No flash, no boasts. Reginald cleared his throat. This doesn't excuse your rudeness, misinterpreting us. Misinterpreting. I cried, fresh tears falling. Calling me a burden. Offering $700 to erase me. Every condescending jab at my life. They had no answer. I stood, everyone watching through a haze of emotion. Let me tell you what no one said. Money buys no class, no empathy, no true education. You have wealth, but lack what matters. Beatrice rose, furious, tears streaking her makeup. You lied. Deceived us. Made fools of us. I didn't, I said coldly, my own tears drying. You did that yourselves. I just revealed your ugliness. Olivia sobbed openly. Mother-in-law, I didn't know. You did, I said gently, grief softening my tone. Not my money but your parents' cruelty. And you said nothing. Liam stood. Mom, let's go. Not yet, I said, turning to Beatrice. You offered $700. Here's my counter. $1 million if you prove one kind act to someone poor. Beatrice gaped, silent, tears flowing. Exactly, I said. People are bank accounts to you. I built wealth, you squander it. I earned respect, you purchase it. I have dignity, you have ledgers. I pulled a black platinum credit card from my tote, dropping it before Beatrice. My corporate card. Unlimited. Pay the dinner, tip generously. From a broke mother. Beatrice trembled, picking it up, turning it over. Elena Harper, regional director. Her hand shook. Fear replaced superiority, tears cascading. I don't need your money, she choked. I know, I replied. But I didn't need your pity. Yet you drowned me in it. Reginald slammed the table softly. Enough. You're disrespecting us. Respect. I laughed through tears. Where was yours when Beatrice questioned my survival? Suggested I burden Liam. Offered to buy my silence. Reginald's jaw clenched. Beatrice wanted control, to erase the poor stain on her daughter's life. But she picked the wrong target. I turned to Olivia, her face tear-streaked. Olivia, I said softly. She looked up sobbing. I'm sorry, she whimpered. I know, I said. You didn't know my truth, but you knew their venom. And you let it flow. Olivia broke into heaving sobs. Liam hugged her, his own tears falling. Beatrice watched, rigid, a single tear escaping. This ruins nothing, she said weakly. Liam and Olivia love each other. We can't let. Let what? I interrupted, grief fueling my fire. Expose your rot. Too late. The damage is etched in my heart. But we can mend it, she pleaded, tears now streaming. Start fresh. No, I said firmly. I know you now, you know me. That can't be undone with feigned remorse. Reginald, you engineered this. Yes, I admitted through fresh sobs. To confirm my fears. You're not good people. Superior only in coin, inferior in soul. Beatrice wiped tears. We're not evil. Maybe not, I said. But not kind. And that's a chasm. The waiter brought the check. No one moved. Beatrice eyed my card, then me. I won't use it. We'll pay as always. Fine, I said. Keep it as a memento. That appearances deceive. That the woman you crushed has more than you'll dream. Reginald pulled gold cards from his wallet, selecting one. The waiter took it. Silence descended, thick with emotion. Olivia's quiet sobs, Liam's stifled grief, Beatrice's defeated tears, Reginald's averted eyes. The waiter returned. Sir declined. Reginald blanched. Impossible. High limit. Error. He handed another. The waiter left. Beatrice fidgeted, tears drying into streaks. This never happens. How unfortunate, I said flatly, my heart still aching. The waiter returned. Declined again. Reginald stormed out, phone in hand. Beatrice sat humiliated, tears renewing. Never, she murmured. Liam eyed the check. Mom, I can. No, I said, pulling my wallet, a battered leather relic. From it, a transparent metal card. Beatrice gasped. That's a centurion. Yes, I said, tears of triumph mixing with sorrow. Invitation only. $250,000 annual spend minimum. $5,000 fee. Perks beyond imagination. The waiter took it reverently, returning swiftly. Settled, Ms. Harper. Receipt. No need. Beatrice stared at the empty spot, defeated. I stood grabbing my tote. Dinner was exquisite. Thanks for revealing yourselves. You spared me future heartbreak. Beatrice looked up, eyes red from crying. This isn't over. Or family. You'll see us. True, I smiled sadly. At holidays, gatherings. But now with truth between us. You'll remember this night every time, the shame burning. Reginald returned, pale. Account blocks security. Fixed tomorrow. He saw the paid check. You paid. Yes, Beatrice said dully. He looked at me, pride shattered, tears in his eyes. Thank you, he mumbled. Welcome, I said. Family helps, right? Even with a small allowance. $800 for this meal. Reginald closed his eyes, sobbing silently. Beatrice's fists clenched, tears flowing. Liam approached. Mom, enough. Let's go. You're right, I said, turning to Olivia. She wept openly. Olivia, you're not your parents. But choose wisely. Teach future kids to value hearts, not wallets. Empathy costs nothing. Olivia nodded, sobs heaving. Liam embraced her. Beatrice averted her gaze. Reginald fiddled with his phone. I walked out, Liam beside me. The night air cooled my tear-streaked face. I breathed deeply, grief lifting like fog. Liam took my arm. "Mom, are you okay?" "Perfectly," I said, though tears lingered. "Better than ever." "You?" He sighed, eyes misty. "Processing. Can't believe you hid your success, your strength." "Does it hurt?" asked, voice cracking. "No," he said, tears falling. "Proud. But foolish for not seeing." "Not foolish," I said, hugging him as sobs shook us both. "You saw what I intended for your growth." Taxi arrived. Liam paused. "Why pretend poor? Why not reveal up front?" Tears welled again. "To know, son. To confirm suspicions." And I was right. It broke my heart, but truth emerged. Liam lowered his head, crying. "Sorry. Don't apologize for them," I said. "Decide your path, as husband, father. Their way controls with money. Mine frees with love." He nodded, tears streaming. I entered the taxi, rolled down the window. "Go to Olivia. Set boundaries." "I will," he promised, sobbing. "Love you, Mom." "Love you too, always." Taxi drove off. I watched Liam recede, shoulders heavy with emotion. Grief mingled with pride. He was growing amid the pain. City lights blurred through my tears. I felt a profound release. The weight of secrets, tolerance, silence gone. The driver glanced back. "Everything all right, ma'am?" I wiped my eyes, voice thick. "Yes. Just emotional night." He nodded. "Seen it all in 20 years. You look like you finally spoke your piece. Brings peace, even through tears." His words soothed my aching heart. "You believe in truth." "Honesty," he corrected. "Raw, unfiltered. My late wife taught me 40 years of it. Fights, tears, but no doubts. Real." Tears flowed anew. "She sounds wise." She was. We arrived at my building. A modest Seattle mid-rise, unassuming. "You live here?" he asked. "Yes," I said, smiling through grief. $30, he said. I gave $100. "Keep it. You listened, worth more." "Thank you." As he drove away, I entered, climbing stairs to my floor, tears drying. My apartment welcomed me, simple, honest. I changed into pajamas, made tea, sat in silence. Grief ebbed into peace. My phone buzzed. "Liam. Home safe?" "Yes. Resting. Love you." "Thanks for being you." Tear fell, relief, love. "Love you always." Gazed out, feeling free. No more mask. Phone vibrated. "Olivia. Forgive me." "Shame. Need to talk." I pondered, then set it aside. Time for real change. Sunday dawned. Coffee in hand, I watched Seattle awaken. Phone rang. "Liam. Mom, need to talk." "Something wrong?" "Much," he said, voice weary. "Last night Olivia and I confronted them. Intense, tears, yells. I listened, heart aching anew. I told them I was ashamed, their cruelty to you unacceptable. Their response? Defensive. Beatrice claimed protection. Reginald said exaggeration. But Olivia? She broke, sobbing, called them cruel, ashamed to be their daughter. Tears pricked my eyes. Brave. Furious chaos, Liam said. Beatrice hysterical, ungrateful accusations. Reginald blamed you. I said they trapped themselves, revealed their true disdain. Well spoken, I murmured, sobbing quietly. We set boundaries, no money talks, no control. Or distance. They raged, blackmail, disinheritance threats. But we stood firm. Relief followed. Proud, I said, tears of joy. Olivia wants to apologize in person. In a few days, I said. Time heals. How are you? He asked. At peace, honest, finally. Love you. You too. I walked the park, sat on a bench, tears of reflection flowing. An elderly woman joined. Beautiful day. Yes. She fed pigeons. Tough night. Something like, I said, voice cracking. Advice. Humans invent hierarchies, pigeons don't. Measure by heart, not wealth. Tears streamed, wisdom piercing my grief. Thank you. She left. I lingered, concluding, no regrets. Honesty liberated. 3 days later, Olivia knocked. Makeup free, casual, vulnerable. May I come in? We sat, she sobbed. Apologize, not words only. Explain. Parents escaped poverty in rural Canada. Hunger, loss. Money became survival. They measure everything by it. Trauma twists, I said, tears welling. Doesn't excuse. No, she cried. I saw their cruelty, stayed silent, trained to obey. But you lifted my blindfold. Showed another way, dignity, peace. Change. I asked, sobbing with her. Furious, humiliated. But I feel free. Good. Teach me. Live authentically, strong without cruelty. Learn by living, I said, hugging her through tears. Question motives. Seek peace. Promise, she vowed. We embraced raw healing. She left lighter. Smiled enough. Authentic life, real bonds. Richer than any fortune. Did you like the story? And which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you enjoyed it, support me with a super thanks to keep these stories coming. Thank you for your wonderful support. I'm eager for your thoughts. On screen, 2 new life stories I recommend. More on my channel, subscribe. See you next with love and respect.